For more on this, let's bring in Doug Heye, political commentator and former Republican strategist. Thanks for being with us this morning. Doug, I know you've worked on 3 North Carolina Senate campaigns, so you know the terrain. My first question for you is, with Ted Budd winning the GOP nomination there, what's your reaction?
Not a surprise at all. Ted Budd, I always thought was going to emerge. I'm surprised a little bit at the wide margin and just how wide it is. But he was running as what in North Carolina we call as the solid, dependable conservative. And meanwhile, Pat McCrory not only had lost his previous race, but when he was running, the only real message that he had was that he was electable. Having lost really cut into that message. Trump's endorsement certainly helped Budd, but the $12 million that the Club for Growth put in was really the engine that drove Budd's candidacy to victory.
$12 million from the Club for Growth. This PAC, how formidable is it in terms of supporting Republican candidates this season?
It's very formidable. And what we see often is that they and Trump are opposed to each other, which makes for some, interesting internal politics. But when they're aligned, it seems to be pretty unstoppable. But again, I thought Ted Budd was going to win from day one. It's just how wide the margin is that's a surprise.
In sticking in North Carolina, the former president also supporting Madison Cawthorn, saying he deserved a second chance in light of a bunch of things that happened that just didn't really add up for voters. Was this a question of a young man who has been way in over his head for far too long with zero political experience? Or was this something where, his tone changed all too much over the past year that he's been a freshman congressman, from empathy to a little bit of more aggression, something that voters didn't want to stomach?
Well, what we saw was just mistake after mistake. And the only reason that Madison Cawthorn lost was because of Madison Cawthorn. Everything that we saw was either a gaffe or something he meant to say that he shouldn't. Obviously, being pulled over a couple of times, getting stopped at the airport, carrying a gun, all of these things, and by his own admission, showed that he wasn't really interested in being a serious legislator. He wanted to be more of a media celebrity. Now maybe he'll get the opportunity to do that, but it's clear that the voters in North Carolina's 11th district out in Asheville and the communities surrounding it just rejected that completely. And keep in mind, he was endorsed by Donald Trump, and Donald Trump doubled down on that on Monday, and it really had no effect. He couldn't get over 30%. Trump's endorsement is helpful for candidates, but it's not a golden ticket.
What do you think about who's going to win, McCormick or Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania? Can you call it?
I have no idea. No idea.
It's so tight. We're still waiting for the results here. Obviously, whoever wins is going to face Fetterman, who was not a surprise winning as the favorite there for the Democratic nomination. We want to bring up the fact that a recent poll shows that pretty much all Americans, 94%, are concerned or upset about the inflation. Obviously, who would really enjoy inflation? But this is a no-brainer here. Have any of these candidates who are running for the GOP or the Democrats presented a reasonable solution for addressing this long list of economic woes in the country right now?
Honestly, no. And it's a very hard thing to do as, one member of Congress or one senator or one candidate, even governors as well. But what we see is that all of this is going to focus, intense pressure on the Biden administration and on Democrats because they have the House and the Senate. Republicans almost politically don't need to offer a solution, just identify, the challenges and problems. And what Biden needs to be worried about here and is worried about is obviously his approval rating is in the tank. The last poll that we saw from NBC had him at 39%. Barack Obama was at 44, 45 going into 2010 when Democrats lost 63 seats in the House. Biden's well below that, and inflation is a big reason why.
Right. And again, so many voters not reporting, but choosing to vote based on a platform issue. The Roe versus Wade conversation is going to certainly be brought up during this primary season. Douglas, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.